I know you do.
So, Ricky, when are you going to get a haircut, man? You look like you're having another bad hair day.
I am having a bad hair, and I do need a haircut, and I actually need to get it cut before the Phoenix Open because I have to look good for Tiger because he's coming now.
Maybe you should wear grease.
Did you really just say you had to look good for Tiger?
I mean, he's coming all this way to see me, and he's playing in this tournament, so I mean, I need to have a fresh fade to be able to be approachable.
It's a real man crush going on here.
Hey guys, so welcome to 2015. We're back for another Friday Foursome, and it's kind of a fivesome today. Les, you might have to leave to make this an official foursome, so you might have to step away because, well, actually,
we were hoping you would.
Wait a minute. I can click in broadcast and go have lunch and just be completely over this, but we got too much to learn today. So we got Jason Boslow with us from Shop Junior Golf, Les Bailey, who's going to leave because it's a fivesome from Pro Golf now, and two guys sitting here from iGrow Golf. Now, first off, Apple might be stealing the name or paying you some royalties because of that name, but we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We've got a lot of things to talk about today, and Jason, I'm so glad that you could actually join because junior golf is going to be a big topic of conversation today. And we are going to be introducing for the first time, and hopefully this and every Friday Foursome for 2015, questions from greenskeeper.org members. Greenskeeper.org, as you know, is now the sponsor for the next calendar year of the Friday Foursome, and John Hakeem from Greenskeeper has done an awesome job just this week grabbing questions from community members in Greenskeeper and introducing the Friday Foursome to those members, and we've got several questions from their members to talk about today as well. So I'm going to not spend all of the time talking about Greenskeeper, but I want to start talking about iGrow Golf. So let's introduce Matt Reagan and Ryan Dailey from iGrow Golf. Welcome to the Friday Foursome, guys.
Thank you, Ricky. We're extremely excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Well, it's fun because we've known each other online for a long time, and we've not really had the chance to ever talk about what iGrow Golf is. So take a couple of minutes, tell us a little bit about what iGrow Golf is, introduce it to members of the community and those watching, and fill us in on what iGrow Golf is all about.
Sure. Thanks, Ricky. As many of you know, as you get to know us, we've dedicated our careers to junior golf. We believe in kids, and we believe in getting them into the game for so many different reasons other than golf, but to get them in that setting is what we really believe in. And we also believe that to grow the game of golf, obviously you need to get kids into the game. We all know that. But Matt and I are kind of aggressive in that we're trying to get the kids really good at the game of golf. And if we can get them good enough at the game, we think they're going to stick in it long enough. And what kind of differentiates us from most, and I'll kind of go into one point, and Matt, if you don't mind going to the other ones, is that we think long term. All of our programs are 8 months, around 8 months a year. The kids come once a week for 90 minutes. We see them often, and the more often we see them, the more the facility benefits, the more the junior golfer benefits, and then the coach also benefits as well.
Right. So kind of everything we did, it wasn't until we actually started in 2009 at Keith Hills Golf Club. It's Campbell University's golf club. Very thankful for them, and they kind of opened their doors, and Ryan and I we said, we want to try to start a long-term program. There's some tools out there. We want to try to bring them to the club, and so we tried some tools that were already out there, and after the first or second year, it was very apparent that we needed to maybe kind of make our own. If we were trying to set up a 10-year program and tell families that, we're going to have a program here for your kid from the age of 3 all the way to 18, and they're going to be able to train year-round with us, and our goal is to make them really good at golf, then we might have to make some of our own materials, and we got to have a curriculum. We got to have some structure, just like kind of like a school would. And so over the course of the last 6 years, everything that we've kind of developed at iGrow just kind of came out of necessity from that, and now we have what we call the Operation 36 platform, and it's kind of the idea and mission that we want to get juniors playing golf, receiving some coaching, and practicing year-round, and then we kind of have like a 6-level learning system that we developed that we're going to be starting to implement and kind of grow at other facilities that will allow to kind of progress the juniors in all sorts of technical skills and knowledge and rules, and just kind of have a full curriculum to progress them that by the time they graduate from level 6, they have to shoot par or better, which we think is pretty cool. Yeah.
So to kind of wrap it up where we currently are at, Matt, in April we'll be at our 10th facility. We're very excited about that. We got 10 facilities using the iGrow platform, and we can't wait to share what we do, the challenges we've had. We've had some interesting stories with kids.
I'll bet.
Instructors. We're looking forward to learn from you guys too today. So we appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Well, that is awesome to hear where it's come and where I know it's going to go because of the focus with junior golf. And I'm going to start with when a user lands on your website. I can be a coach or I can be a parent. Talk about the differences and when I get to the website, what the path is for each one of those for coaches and for parents.
Sure. So 3 or 4 years ago, people started seeing what we were doing at Keith Hills, and we never even thought about it, but coaches started saying, we'd like to do something similar to what you're doing. Can you guys give us your stuff? Can we do what you're doing? So, and we kind of had it working at Keith Hills, but we started redesigning everything 3 years ago to set it up and say, man, what if we could get this going at every facility in the world? What if we kind of made sure that everything that we did could integrate at a private club, a public course, a semi-private, and any coach that's passionate about junior golf could use it. So the coach section is kind of, it lays out our mission for coaches because we probably had, I would say, 60 inquiries come in from coaches that say, hey, what are you guys doing with this? We want to get involved, and we were just, we're not, one, trying to run our programs and stay up on our own. We're just a couple of PGA professionals like everyone else, but two, we want to help the industry, and that's what we care about. And if we can get other coaches and set them up with a platform to structure programming at their facility to get the kids to the course every week for 8 months out of the year, then we're going to do it. And that's kind of our mission now. And we just released it about three months ago, and we've had some great response. Like Ryan said, we had we're going to be training 6 more coaches. So we'll have 10 locations using the Operation 36 platform here by April, which is going to be awesome. So it's kind of a huge learning year for us. But then, also the other part of the website, the parent section, we want to make sure every parent that hits that site understands our mission, and anyone who's using the Operation 36 platform exactly what is going on at that particular facility. They're going to know that they have a coach there that's dedicated to get their junior to shoot par or better, which we think is awesome.
Well, first of all, you guys have a great website. I think your website is fantastic. I spent some time on it when we learned who the guest was. So congratulations on the website. That clearly took a lot of time and effort in getting all of that set up right. So,
Sure.
and next, I love that you guys are devoted to junior golf. Obviously, that's my passion because of my little one that's involved in junior golf. So it's nice to see somebody that is primarily focused on junior golf and not, adult golf, and I also do juniors as well because there's a lot of that goes on. So you were talking about the coaching, and I'm curious what your process is to qualify your coaching staff.
You mean for our personal coaches or for coaches that want to run the program, Jason?
The coaches that want to run your program.
Sure, I think this is a pretty easy answer here. They have to love kids. They have to love the developmental process that kids go through. We've had some inquiries where Matt and I kind of look at each other and go, you know what, I think they're in it for the wrong reasons, and we kind of move those into a different pile. We really feel that you got to love kids and you got to love to grow with them and learn from them and how they adapt. And we've seen way too many golf pros who are 100%, not 100%, but mostly into the golf shop, and then junior golf a little bit on the side. But
right.
Matt and I are 100% into this. And we want to find people that are 100% into it too.
So the first tee is huge all over the country, and I know Les has a question relating to the first tee. So Les, take it away.
Yeah, I was just curious after looking at your website, how exactly do you differ from the efforts of the first tee?
That's a fantastic question. So, when it comes to the first tee, I like to look at it as we want to have programs set up where one, we can introduce kids to the game, and I think the first tee does a fantastic job of doing that. Definitely some low-cost programs. They're all over the U.S. They're getting kids interested in the game, and they have opportunities year-round. And they might not be ample opportunities, so the kids might come for maybe a week in the summer or a camp here and there throughout the year. We kind of wanted to bridge the gap from there and then let's say the boarding school that we're going to send our kids off to do sports and golf year-round. So we're trying to bridge the gap and find the in-between there, and that's where we see the opportunity, and that's if that helps answer your question.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Yeah, so I think the idea is to get, the neat thing, Ryan and I talk about this all the time, is it feels like we're a part of all these kids' families because we see them every week. And when you start getting in it for the right reasons and seeing that the kids are, they come every week, you get to know their families. The families want golf lessons at the golf course. They become members of the facility. You see them out there all the time. It's been really neat to see that happen. So.
And that's how golf grows. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it is with me. So, since you guys have kids, from the little guys up to 18-year-olds, how important is it, and what kind of help do you guys offer during the college recruiting process? I know locally there's several companies out there that offer resume services and video services. A, is all of that really necessary, and B, how do you guys help kind of navigate the college recruiting process?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, we're not experts on it by any means, and we don't claim to be. There's a ton that goes into college recruiting, and we've looked at that. We have what I would call kind of our advisory board that, when Ryan and I don't know something, we don't try to act like we do, and we reach out to them in tenfold. And the college recruiting process is not easy, but Ryan's worked with some elite juniors. I have as well, and it just seems that there's definitely some. We aren't the experts in it by any means, but we've reached out to some, and we have some ones that we're actually bringing on kind of our advisory board, because we have a kind of a members website for the parents to get them on board, and we're looking forward to having them join us and share some information to help parents along the way as well.
Good. So kind of a second part to that. At what age does it become really important, do you think, working with the juniors that you have in that 14 to 16, 17-year-old range? At what age does it become really important to start that recruiting process?
Well, I think we've really learned, Jason. If you would have asked us that question 6 years ago, we would just kind of sit here and stare at you. In a lot of conversations that we've had with college coaches, the thing that I've heard recently is that you're trying to show that your kid can shoot under par by their sophomore year of high school, which is kind of interesting to me to hear. And that's men's NCAA for Division I to hear. But I think when Matt and I get into this and we start really talking about it, we're like, we can be semi-good at a lot of things, or we can be really good at one thing. So we really focus on what we're focusing on, which is kind of growing the game and getting them to even par. Once they reach even par or break even par in the program, it's time to get into some customized private coaching, or just find those guys that specialize in the recruiting process.
Sure.
Okay, let's go to our first greenskeeper.org question. I saw John Hakeem just said that yes, he was going to be attending the Friday Foursome. So, John, if you're watching, you're a few minutes late because we started 15 minutes ago, but that's okay. So hopefully you're watching. So Weber2323 wants to know, is there a difference in teaching boys versus girls? Having one of each, I'm curious to know how to get them started. After all, I'm banking on my retirement on this.
I saw that question on there. That was a big one.
What? I think we should address the banking my retirement option.
There you go.
Let's talk about pressures with kids. How old are the kids would be another question, because I think, what is it? It's the U.S. kids movie, The Short Game. They talk about, the pressures that they're putting on the kids. If you're going to put the pressures on the kids at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, they might be great golfers, and you're going to say, hey, I'm putting my retirement on you. We're traveling, all these tournaments. We're doing all this. I'll tell you, the kid won't be playing by the age of 16 more than likely. So that'd be something we want to look at firsthand. But between teaching boys and girls, it depends on the age, because, the ages of 6 to 9, and Ryan can go into more. 6 to 9, we can have a lot of fun with boys or girls. Every kid's different. If I've learned anything, I feel you feel like you're being very creative, and you're going to get 3 or 4 kids that you're teaching, and then you have to become even more creative to get the other 3 or 4 kids you're teaching. That just comes with experience. But then as you start to get to the 9 to 13 to 18-year-old range, there definitely is a little bit of difference between coaching boys and girls, and that's kind of where we try to keep them a little bit more separate, I guess.
And the only thing I would add to that, Matt, I thought that was a very good explanation, is that modeling is really, really important. Taking them to a PGA Tour event, taking them to an LPGA Tour event, and seeing what's possible, at least in our experience, is extremely powerful. We bring in university students to talk to our kids all the time, And I think Matt and I could talk for hours about exactly what to do and not to do, but modeling is so powerful.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to follow up with the greenskeeper.org questions. I brought a question from dcoach1. And by the way, I want to thank greenskeeper.org for the great graphics they provided us. This is our first day with them. dcoach1 there was wondering what was the best age to start children at golf?
That's a good question. I've got a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And my 1-year-old the other day started carrying around a club, and none of us asked him to. I would just say they will do whatever the parents do. So if you're a parent and you don't play golf, this is going to be a challenge. But if you are a parent that does play golf, set up a hitting bay in the garage, start hitting balls, put them out there. They will start doing exactly what you're doing, and in a positive way and a negative way.
Well, I've got a 2-year-old grandson that is already hitting a little plastic ball with a little plastic club. So, and so yeah, he's interested now.
Get a snag. Snag is an awesome training tool. Actually, as an adult, I like snags. So now I gotta correct last year real quick. Now the graphics were not provided by greenskeeper.org. They were actually provided by Gil Mello. Gil Mello is quickly becoming a good friend of mine. He is a moderator and a member of the Craft Beer Nation, which is another community on Google Plus that I am very heavily involved with. And on Friday evenings, I do a hangout on air with them. So it's called the Friday Night Hangout, and I give a thumbs up to the graphics, but I had to make sure that I corrected it and gave Gil his proper props for. I mean, he is just a rock star when it comes to creating this stuff. And we'll have a trailer graphic. We've got an event header graphic. We've got custom lower thirds. Lots of cool graphics for this year. So
well, it was a nice package. I thought I'd bring it up, and you didn't tell us where it came from, so I just assumed it came from Greenskeeper.
And I'm going to piggyback on we're going to keep Greenskeeper in the forefront here because you just stole a question of, well, I mean, he asked like 10 questions, but another question from dcoach1, and I think he must be a local because he said, what is your typical ratio of kids to instructors? And when are you expanding to Phoenix?
Ooh, that's a great question. So we try to keep it to a 6-to-1 ratio with students, and then in some of our older programs, a 4-to-1 ratio. So we have some help and a couple interns. We're fortunate enough to get a couple interns at facilities that we run. But we try, typically what we'll have in a class in an afternoon is about 12 kids a day.
And then when we're coming to Arizona, we're just trying to find a passionate instructor out there that's interested in it. We don't want to hand it to somebody that doesn't want to do it. And if there's somebody out there that you know of, have them reach out to us. That'd be fantastic. I'd just follow that up, Matt. Why do we do group instruction versus just private instruction?
Right. So we get that question all the time. Why don't we just do private instruction? One, it's more costly, and two, we kind of skip over the experience of the game. So when we think about getting better or getting into the game, group instruction by far and developing relationships and friends, and you really miss out on that if you're not doing the group instruction. So Ryan and I definitely make everything very social within the iGrow community, and people are doing iGrow kind of across the other facilities. One of the neat things that's going to be coming is it's about to get a lot more social, which we're gonna be sharing later this year probably, which is kind of in the loop.
Awesome. Well, I really agree with that too because the interaction is really important for the kids.
Well, the kids need to have fun, and they're going to have a lot more fun in a group environment.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, we started in a group environment as well, and it was the best thing that we ever did. And you know, any parent that I talk to, I always recommend, especially if they're starting out for the first year, they should do it in a group environment. So I definitely agree with that. I think it's really good.
So there's some room you can work in a private lesson, and if you have a good junior coach, they're going to keep it really light and fun, and it's not like your typical let's stand on a lesson tee and do this. There's definitely an art to it, and those are the kind of the things that we're sharing with other instructors that we're learning as we go.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the unique programs that you guys offer through your instruction. What are some of the unique things that you guys do during your lessons or during your group lessons that others don't necessarily do?
Sure, Jason. I'll take that for a few, and if you want to go to you. So our classes are 90 minutes. Our main academic classes are 90 minutes once a week. For the students that want a little bit more, we've got supervised practice on the weekends. We've got weekly golf matches. We've got a travel team they can play on, and then also practice as well. So we're trying to not only cater to the kid that just wants to come once a week, but also if they want a little bit more, we got to have something else to offer them to keep their attention, to keep their drive and their challenge and their motivations. We've got those other programs and supplement.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to, this is why we developed Operation 36, is to understand, get parents to understand and get families to understand in the junior, we need to be playing golf, we need to be practicing golf, and you need to get coaching. And if you do all three and you kind of make a combo pack for the kid at the facility, and every facility had this, we'd have a lot more skilled golfers. That's what we believe. So.
Well, one of the questions I had is why aren't junior programs translating into more club memberships throughout golf?
That's a very good question, and our answer to that, Les, not saying that we have the right answer, but our answer to that would be that they're not getting good enough. The junior programs are kind of just introducing them to the game, and they've got to get hooked to a point where they're almost addicted or craving the game. And we think if we get them to a good enough player where they're beating everybody in the county or everybody else in the city, that they're going to absolutely love it, and they're going to possibly bypass the baseball, the football, and something else when they get to be 15 or 16. But that's a really good question.
So, and to kind of build on that, some of the things that we're doing, some of the, we call them kind of retention tools, but it also organizes everything. Is I think you probably see on our website the skill kits that the kids get. So it's kind of the curriculum that progresses the kid through the program, and it's set up to be, what we hope to be, maybe a 10-year program, progressing them to shoot par or better. And we're not talking about 72. We're talking about par or better for 9 holes from their appropriate tee box.
Great.
So we've been talking for like 25 minutes already. This is ridiculous. I feel like you said we could talk for hours, and we absolutely could. We don't have any more questions unless Les knows of any more questions from greenskeeper.org. John didn't ask any questions. Of all the people from greenskeeper.org that should ask the first question, maybe I should yell at him and tell him each week he's required to ask one question. But Jason, back to you for any final questions, because I know your favorite part's coming up here in a couple of minutes.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I love what these guys do. I love the name. I love the website. I like the concepts. I think they're off to something good. I'm excited to see if they can pick up anybody in Dallas and
Phoenix. So before we go to Les's final question, you said earlier you could tell stories all day. What's the craziest story that you two could share that one could tell better than the other?
Golf related?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not like last Saturday night related.
You mean like that we've experienced in junior golf?
Yeah, something just crazy, or whether it's a hole-in-one that you witnessed, or just something crazy, like a story that from your time with iGrow Golf.
Well, I mean, I'll say one, and then Matt, if you want to brainstorm some more, we can grinding over there. This summer we had one of our first students. We used to be called The Edge, and then our lawyers told us we had to change it to iGrow. But one of our students from The Edge was qualifying. He was qualifying for the USAM, and his dad was caddying for him. And in the 10th fairway on the second day, his dad handed me the bag and said, "Hey, you caddy, I'm not doing good." And I grabbed the bag. Matt was with me, and I think our student went bogey, bogey, bogey with me on the bag.
Hey, and Steve Williams is available,
And then we're coming down 18, and we end up going for the green in 2, and he's got a 10-footer for eagle, and Matt, for whatever reason, starts videotaping it.
Of course.
And the student ends up making eagle and qualifying for the USAM by 1 stroke.
The 10th grade, right?
The 10th grader in high school.
That was pretty fantastic.
That was a pretty neat. I became as we were following and watching, I became Dad's blood pressure, his heart rate, everything. I became a doctor there for a second. I had to watch the round, and when he sank that putt, I think there was probably all the officials were down there. They wanted to see. He sank it, and he ended up finishing second. It was awesome. It was a really neat experience.
That's really cool.
I mean, Matt and I love to see parents with their kids, and the dad was crying at the end. And the 2 of us were almost in tears. It was so exciting for all of us to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm a sap, so I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. He kept thanking us. I couldn't talk because I was gonna cry. I'm like, this is nuts.
Well, I can pretty much promise you will not cry during your Friday Foursome, and we're almost out of time. Les, any final questions from you, buddy?
No, I don't have any. I just want to warn them, though, that based on your man crush on Tiger Woods, to be careful during the lightning round.
Yeah, there's one question in the lightning round that you need to be very cautious with how you answer. So we don't typically have two persons from the guest. So the way that we're going to do this, so it's 9 questions, rapid fire. Each one of you have to answer each question, but don't let each other's response affect your answer. So have your own answer for these 9 rapid-fire questions. You guys ready for the lightning round?
Except for the one question.
Yeah, well, there's one question that you both have to answer correctly, or this episode.
Party on the racing.
This never gets posted.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So when you guys play together on the golf course, who wins?
Who wins on the golf course?
Yeah, you
the last time Ryan and I played together was probably 4 years ago. So.
You got into the golf business to play more golf and to teach golf. You need to go play golf.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We got to get more kids to play. That's our goal. So.
All right. Have you ever had an ace?
I have not.
I have. I have had one in Dallas, Texas, of all places.
Hey,
nice.
It's because Jason lives there. That's why.
That's right. That's right. Which
Now,
course?
Wow, you're gonna date me here. I think it was North.
That's all right.
But it was in a charity event, and I had to stand on the 6T and hit 6 irons all day, and I think I did it like my 15th try, so I don't think it really counts.
Probably not.
It's a 1 with a star. It totally counts. Favorite PGA Tour major?
I would say everyone says the Masters, but it's amazing. I love it every year.
I would say the same thing. The Masters, it gets you started for the year, gets you excited, and the sun gets out, the grass is green, it's wonderful.
Okay, now speaking of majors, and as Les alluded to, there was a very important question in this lightning round, and it's this one. Will Tiger break Jack's record? Why or why not?
Dun, 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 dun.
We should insert that audio at the end.
I hope he does, or he makes it interesting, because that'll be good for the entire golf industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good answer.
I think there's not a golf pro out there, I don't think. Maybe I'm sure maybe there are, but that aren't pulling for him. Maybe not as hard as Ricky, but
Not many are.
I would answer absolutely yes. I'm a huge fan of Tiger, and I think he's in great hands with Chris Como, the two of them working together.
Yep.
And Chris is a great guy, and he's kind of viewing him as a consultant, which I think is an awesome word, the two of them working together, and I am a huge Tiger fan, and I hope I definitely hope he does it.
I think this is over. Last right. Is there any other questions? I don't know. Like, that was such a good answer. I don't know how we could potentially top this. What golf ball do you play?
I play Pro V1X.
I'll say the same thing, even though most of the time it's whatever's in the bag.
Now, wait a minute. I said that you weren't allowed to let the partner determine what your answer was. Okay, now you answer this one first. Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
I would go with Lexi Thompson.
Yeah, all right.
All the kids love her.
Yeah.
If you say Lexi Thompson, you're done answering questions.
I would probably say Nanette Hill. She just got her LPGA Tour card. Good friend of mine, Brian Cregan, very good instructor, teaches her, and I'm excited to see how she does this year.
Awesome. Cool. That's a good answer. Okay. Now, you start. Who is in your perfect foursome? Speaking of the Friday Foursome.
In my perfect foursome, I would love that my dad doesn't play the game. I've tried to get him to start a few times. I would love to have him play with me and my 5-year-old son, and probably Tom Watson.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
Can it be anybody?
It can be anybody.
Doesn't even have to be a golfer.
I would have Ricky Potts.
Oh, no.
Tiger Woods. And I don't want anybody else. I just want to see how that. I want to see how that one goes.
That might be the best round of your life. It'll be the longest round of your life because I'm going to hit like 6 balls off the tee just to spend more time with Tiger.
You're gonna want to watch Ricky drool for 4 hours, right?
So I don't use a lot.
Swing his club because he'd be so far up his butt.
Jason.
I'm glad you said that, Jason. I was thinking it.
There are a lot of options out there, but what's your favorite training aid?
Ooh, favorite training aid. That's a good one. What do I? Is a flight scope a training aid?
Yeah. It's an expensive training aid, but it's a training aid.
I would say an alignment rod. You could use it in so many different ways, and if a student stops listening, you could use it a different way.
You need to like patent that. That should be like a tagline on the website. And your final question of the Friday Foursome: what's next for iGrow Golf?
I think, and I'll let Ryan finish, but I think we're just excited to be a part of the coaching community and getting other coaches to help contribute to the platform. Anyone who's using it, I think that's the neat thing about it is we don't try to act like we know everything, because we don't. We've got a lot of where we are now and the platform set up from other coaches, and by allowing everybody else who's using the Operation 36 platform contribute to it every year at our conference. I think it's going to be really good to grow the game at each facility, and we have some really neat things coming in kind of phase 2 of Operation 36, but that's what we're very excited about. We're pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, Matt said it perfectly. I mean, the two of us don't know everything. We're just trying to learn as much as we can from everybody else, and the teachers that we got coming on board with us this year, we're so excited to learn from them. A couple of them are college coaches in their past, and we cannot wait to learn from them and kind of help companies like Troon, companies like Club Core, and golf courses all around the country and the world grow the game of golf. So we're excited.
That is awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today. This has been fantastic. I'll make sure this gets shared in all the appropriate channels. Jason, Les, thank you guys. I'd never leave out the question in the lightning round of what your favorite golf movie is, but my favorite golf movie is Tin Cup, and Jesus Martinez always says that his favorite is the same and steals this quote, but make more birdies.